So, in case you aren't aware, you are attending currently the second annual Anti-Valentine's Day show. Yeah, can we get a round of applause? Thank you guys for joining us. Yes. In case you're unaware of what you're celebrating, it's the opposite of everything Valentine's Day. So, not to get too weird, but a little anti-corporate, we don't need to buy each other a bunch of stuff except for tickets to this show. Thank you, we appreciate that, yeah. You don't need to be with a partner, and if you're with that partner, shit doesn't need to be going great. That's fine, that's pretty freaking normal. Happy Anti-Valentine's Day. And also starting the show out of order is totally Anti-Valentine's Day show, so. Thank you guys so much for being here. We also have a donation in the front here for the food bank. So be sure if you do have, those extra cans laying around in your frozen car, we'll take them. We also have a donation going for a very dear friend of ours who recently passed away, Maddock. And so if you see that up front, please feel free to help in the spirit of love and joy, which I know we're kind of doing the anti-that. In the spirit of love, helping out his family, that would be amazing. Now to get the show started, I think one of my favorite, if I may be so bold, he's been vicariously a friend of mine in the community, always kept me laughing whenever I was working downtown. Thank you so much for being around. And also recently won Best Local Comedian, is that right, of 2025? Something, you got a plaque of some sort. It was cool, it's shiny. We like that for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Garrison Choitz. I was giving you shit. You're the best human in the world. See? Anti-Valentine's Day show. Invite musicians and then give them shit and kick them off stage. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Mario.
Yeah, get out of here, Mario. Get out of here. Whoa, no. Whoa. That's okay. That was such a nice intro. Give it up for Michael for being here, starting the show off. That intro was too nice, though, for Anti-Valentine's Day. The rest of the show is going to be really mean-spirited, so buckle up. Bozeman's changed a lot, It's changed a lot since I've lived here. I was driving downtown to work and I saw this sign and it said, "Drive like your kids live here." And I've worked very hard to not have kids. So I didn't know what to do. I just pulled my hat down really far and tried to not make eye contact with anyone in that neighborhood. Because, I'm on my way to work. I don't have time to connect with my estranged child on my way to work. A little further down the road, there's a sign that says, "Drive like your pets live here." And I'm like, is my cat two-timing me? So I start doing 70 miles an hour in a 25 mile per hour zone. Because I can't go to work thinking I might have nicked my cat. It just has to be a clean, just an explosion. Because I can't go to work and think about that all day. But I can go to work and cry in the walk-in cooler if I did blow up my cat, And then I see a sign and it says, "Drive like you live here." And I just lose it. I slam on the brakes. I pull into the next driveway. I run in the house. I grab this guy who's making breakfast by the shirt. I slam him up against the wall and I'm like, "Where are my kids? Where's my cat? How do I drive now?" And he couldn't tell me, so I walked back outside, and as I was about to get in my car, this work truck drove by, and on the back bumper it said, "How am I driving?" And it just mind blown, it's like, how are you driving, how can you drive through this place? It's a nightmare. Yeah, a little bit about me. I'm not so funny that I don't have a day job. I work at a grocery store during the day, which is very boring. When I got my job at the grocery store, I was the lead cashier, which is really sad. So I would always pronounce it cashier, like it's French, like it's cultured, you know? Cashier, that's something you go to Juilliard for, right? Yes. The only exciting part about being a cashier in Bozeman is that we're, living on the doorstep of the world's largest active supervolcano. So at any moment during my day, I might just get Pompeyed doing whatever mundane task I'm up to, Just turned into a statue of ash, leaning on the counter while someone counts out exact change. Just doing that forever. So, that's fun. I sell a lot of kombucha to white people. I work at the co-op, okay? That's like 95% of what I do, sell kombucha to white people. And it took me a long time to figure out why it is that white people like kombucha so much, but I figured it out. And it's because when a white person drinks a kombucha, it's the only time in their life that they get to consume an entire active culture. Just like one thing. Yeah, I figured it out. I'm mad about stuff. Like when comedians get mad about stuff. Stuff happens. Don't you hate it when you take a flight and you run out of airline miles mid-flight, so you have to sit on the floor in the aisle and everybody gets to spit on you and throw trash on you and stuff? Make me so mad when that happens. Don't you hate it when you take a flight and it's a rough flight, and so when you land, everyone on the plane claps, and then the pilots are so excited by the clapping that they do an encore landing? Freaking hate when that happens. I'm mad about stuff. We live in a free country, right? For the joke. We live in a free country, right? Well, if that's true, then how come I can't get a bone-in hot dog anywhere? Walk into any grocery store in America and walk up to the deli counter and ask for a bone-in hot dog. They won't even make eye contact with you. What are hot dogs made of? All the stuff we throw away. What else do we throw away? Bones. So take 6 hot dogs, thread a bone through them, put them on a tray pack, sell them for 7 cents less per hot dog, as is custom with all bone-in meat items because they're more annoying to eat. Or else this is not a free country or something. I'm mad. This is Anti-Valentine's Day, but let's talk about relationships for a second. Who's on the app? Who's on the app? Anybody do the app anymore? I actually won Tinder. I don't know if you noticed that Tinder doesn't exist anymore, but it's because I won. And what I did is my Tinder picture was a picture of me holding a deer that I shot. And the deer is holding a fish that I taught it how to catch.
Oh my God.
It's like teach a man to fish, And then the fish is holding a smartphone with your Tinder picture on it. That's how I won. So I'm glad that's all over. You know, Tinder was great though. It was like the ultimate resource for assembling an Avengers-style team of people who love having fun and their family. Yeah, that's from a long time ago. I live with my fiance, which is cool, but no one wants to hear you complain about your fiance, so in jokes I just call her my roommate. So I walked in on my roommate masturbating the other day. I walked in on my roommate masturbating, which was really awkward because they were also masturbating. So we're just like, what are we doing? You know? Our cycles are synced up or something. I don't know. I was reading a Cosmopolitan magazine 12 years ago, and in Cosmopolitan magazine they give you tips on sex, how to have better sex. And one of the tips I read said that women who wear socks during sex have a 33% increased chance of having an orgasm than those who don't. And so right then I made it a rule that every person I slept with, you know, they're wearing socks. I'm not going to take any chances. They're wearing socks on their hands too, you know. And if you're a mathematician, so it's 50% chance no socks, 33% more, that's a 83% chance. That's an additional 33% chance. That's an over 100% chance that they're going to have an orgasm during sex. So they're going to have like an orgasm and like a little extra something every time. And then I also like to tape the socks on. So then they have to do that dance to try to get the socks off, you know? When they get up, you know? I don't know.
Like a cat. It's like a cat.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
it's like a cat.
Yeah.
You can do that to a cat. Just don't have sex with the cat, though. Okay? That's the message I want you all to take home from my set. Don't have sex with the cat.
Okay, got it.
Promise?
Promise.
All right. I was graduated from MSU. Yeah, I'm so smart. I got a degree in film and photography, which means that 6 years after I graduated, I was making burritos for a living. So it's like the next step. So you study film, then you make burritos for 6 years. Because the film industry is all about who you know. And where do you meet more people than when you're making burritos all day? And I met a lot of people making burritos. We had a lot of groups of regular customers, and one of those groups was the Gallatin Valley SWAT team, which is a real thing. Those of you who don't believe me, they're a real thing. And I was rolling a burrito for this guy, and I asked him what he did, and he's like, I'm the Gallatin Valley SWAT sniper. And that was really cool because that was the one and only time in my life that I ever made a burrito for someone who I knew without a doubt had never killed someone in their entire life, you know. Because a lot of times you make burritos for people and you're like, I don't know, this guy looks like he kills. I don't know. But that time I got to feel free of that pressure. What's going on? Let's go over here. Usually the stage isn't so big. I can walk all the way over here, check it out. I'm not gonna touch anything though.
Don't touch that.
I promise. I'm not gonna touch anything. I was in a band. Maybe you've heard of it. It was a marching band. Ever heard of that? We walked around because we couldn't be pinned down to play in one place. We were always walking around. I played in Missoula for the Cat Grizz game in 2010. And it was colder in Missoula than it was in Moscow, Russia that day. It was like -30 with wind chill for the halftime show. Almost all of our instruments froze. I played saxophone, and if you've ever played a wind instrument, there's a lot of spit happening. So all that spit turns into ice, and then your saxophone don't work good no more. So I had to take my saxophone to the bathroom to put it under the hand dryer to try to melt this ice. And what I learned is that if you hold a saxophone under a hand dryer at exactly the right angle, it turns into a fully automatic saxophone. So there's me and 3 other saxophonists just like do 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 do. People trying to poop. You know? Just so loud. It was so loud in there. Yeah. Yeah. This is the part of the show where I demand something. Listen to what I gotta say. If you drive a truck, it's time to join society and use your turn signal. Okay? Come on in, you know? I promise you that us knowing which way you're gonna turn is not an invasion of your privacy. You know? We just want to know where you're going, so we don't go where you're going and then don't go no more. But I think I figured out the problem, and I think it's because when you use your turn signal, you have to articulate your wrist, which is like too effeminate of a gesture if you're driving a truck. Because, you know, if you're driving a truck through your neighborhood and you're doing that, you know, your neighbor's like, that guy probably knows what a neti pot is. You know. So here's how we're solving the problem. No little this anymore. Now there's a little punching bag that hangs next to your rearview mirror. If you want to go left, you throw a hook. You want to go right, you throw a hook. Then your neighbor sees you, you know, driving through the neighborhood throwing hooks, and he's like, that guy. I like that guy. That's a good guy. I like that guy. Yeah. So do it. Get that punching bag. We're gonna model it after that game that's in bars. You know, the punching bag, and you punch it. It shows you a number. It shows you how hard you can punch your girlfriend. How hard you can punch. It's gonna be just like that, but for signaling you're turning. All right, that's the part where I make demands. Got that over with. I'm trying to lose weight. You know, so what else is there to do? Trying to lose weight. I tried a bunch of diets that didn't work. I tried a diet where you just buy clothes that are too small for you all the time, thinking that someday you'll be uncomfortable enough that you'll go for a walk or something, not realizing that if your clothes are too uncomfortable to just sit in, that they're way too uncomfortable to go for a walk in. So that didn't work. I tried this diet where all you can eat for a whole day is what you can fit in like a little winter mitten, like a little children's mitten. And you can put whatever you want in there, but when you're done, you have to wait till the next morning to refill it. And it's called intermittent fasting. Yep. I tried, last diet I tried also not good, didn't work. It's where you just eat Cheetos. Just Cheetos, whatever flavor or style of Cheeto you want. You eat just Cheetos. And after a while of eating just Cheetos, your body goes into this thing called Cheetosis. You just start shedding pounds. mostly due to organ failure. But you gotta start somewhere, I'm mad about stuff. I'm mad about stuff. No, I'm not gonna touch that. I'm so mad. I work in a grocery store, and it's sad. That's sad. Turned into a statue of ash, leaning on the counter, watching someone count out exact change. I have to help customers. I have to. That's part of my job. I was helping a customer who was really worried about non-organic baking soda in food. They were like, that's bad for you. I'm trying to avoid it. I don't know if maybe some of you are chemists or geologists, but there's no such thing as organic baking soda. You can't just go out and find baking soda and dig it up and put it in a little thing. So anyways, she does not believe me. So here we go. This goes on for like 20 minutes. I'm trying to be as gentle as I can and telling her that there's no such thing as organic baking soda. She doesn't buy it. So I don't know if this ever happens to you at work. The person you're helping gives up on you and then consults a rock tied to a string. Like a little crystal. This probably happens to you. She pulls out a little crystal on a string and proceeds to ask it a series of binary questions. And the rock swings one way to say yes and the other way to say no. And she's like, is organic baking soda real? And the rock says yes, of course. I'm like, fuck. And then she asks it, is the baking soda in this product organic? And it says no. And then I ask it, or then she asks it, is this product good for me? And the rock says no. And the product we've been holding this whole time was a box of brownie mix. It's like, if what you wanted to know was, is brownie mix good for you? No. So just tell the truth and just ask the stupid question first. Don't take me on this vision quest with you, with your magic rock, and make me accomplice to your rock questioning, Just don't do it. Just don't do that to me. Stop. We can't take this anymore, They can't do that to us anymore. We're all mad about this, We're all mad about this stuff. I should wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Let's talk about something. Does anybody have a dog?
Yeah.
Does anybody have a cat?
Yeah.
Well, here's something to know. If you have a dog and you were to die at home and no one discovered your body, your dog would be sad by you for up to 24 hours before it started to eat your corpse. But if you have a cat, your cat will eat your eyeballs out of your head within an hour of you dying.
Hell yeah.
And your asshole. But I think all that means is that it takes a cat an hour to pull down someone's pants, depending on if you're wearing a belt or not.
Oh my God.
Gotta get that treasure. But I just think it's so fucked up, that we don't eat our cat's eyes when they die.
Yeah.
And respect their culture.
Yeah.
That's why when I adopted my cat, I promised her right there that as soon as she leaves this mortal form, I'll take her in my arms and just, suck her eyeballs out of her head. like 2 tapioca pearls out of the bottom of a bubble tea. So she can go to Cat Valhalla or wherever they go. I think probably the coolest part of dying is when you get to heaven and they sew your foreskin back on. But also kind of weird, because when they cut your foreskin off and it dies and goes to heaven, it stays the same size. So it's like sewing a baby foreskin onto a full-grown man.
Oh my god.
But also, it will be cool because, like, when you're born, that's like, you're the director's cut. And then when you get circumcised, you're like the theatrical cut of who you are. You know, that's a film major joke. All right, that's my time. Thank you so much for laughing. This is an awesome show. There's a bunch of funny people and a bunch of awesome bands here tonight, so thank you for being here. Let's give it back to Michael.
Yeah, I think ending on the my cat will eat my asshole, that's the best way to go out on Anti-Valentine Day. Thank you so much, Garrison. Give another round of applause for Garrison, everybody. Yeah. All right, so it just wouldn't be an Anti-Valentine's Day knockoff Valentine's show if we didn't do some kind of a dating game. So I thought it'd be fun, instead of, trying to date the most eligible bachelor in Bozeman, I give to you, ladies and gentlemen, from the depths of Belgrade, the most eligible toxic bachelor, my husband, Matthew McGee. Now, some of you may or may not have noticed that you got some, name tags. God, I'm not actually a stripper, I'm just wearing stripper heels. Kind of wish I were, though, they have great bodies. Damn, yeah, that kind of hurt. Hold on, we're just gonna, So, what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna ask Matthew a couple questions, and some of you all got some name tags. Now, don't be weird. I know some of the guys got name tags, some of the girls got name tags. He's bisexual, so if you're actually into it, that's cool. And if you're not into it, just have some fun, have a good time, okay? So we're gonna ask Matthew some questions here, just to kind of get things rolling. First things first, my sweet, darling sunshine. How long have we been married now?
A little over a year now.
Awesome, a little over a year. It's a nice vague answer. It's been a year, 28 days, and 13 hours, thank you. But as husbands do, he's getting there, he's close. And what would you say is your biggest red flag, just so we're all aware?
I know the answer. It's probably the fact that I don't show my emotions very well.
Ooh, that was deep. Yeah, I was gonna go with the toilet paper thing where you put it the other way around. That's pretty.
The correct way?
Yeah. Ooh. All right, so before I begin a domestic up here, I would like to call up, who here, can I get, I'm trying to see, give me a round of hands. Who's got a name tag on right now? Okay, cool. Right up in here. Let's go ahead and get name tag. Yeah, come on up. All right, we're gonna ask, oh, wonderful. We're going to ask the host's dad some questions about dating my husband. This is going to be perfect. All right. Come on up. Now, let's see what name tag we have here. Who am I inviting up to the stage? First off, thank you for being so cheery and joining us in a party hat. That's fantastic. Miss Montana runner-up. Ladies and gentlemen, here to talk to our most eligible toxic bachelor. So, Miss Montana, what TV show would you be in if you could be in one?
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh, that's so good. And what TV show would you be in if you could be in one?
Fear Factor.
That's heavy. Okay, now Miss Montana, how does it feel? Are you familiar with Fear Factor? Okay, how does it make you feel that your potential date here finds that interesting?
Very scary.
Okay. What is the most frightening part, would you say, or scary part? I shouldn't say frightening. What's the most scary part, would you say, Miss Montana?
No idea.
Is it the scorpions on the body, or eating testicles in general? That would be...
That would be scary.
Okay, that would be scary. Well, in that case then, do you think this evening you would like to ask Mr. Toxic Bachelor out on a date?
No, that would be fun.
Okay. Well, I thought I'd try. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Montana runner-up and our most toxic bachelor. Thank you so much for joining us. Up next here, let's see on my handy-dandy notes, do we have Sir Dusty Dilsnick in the house? Let's go on to the next act, which I am really, really excited about. The darkest and heaviest of the acts. I don't know. Well, Garrison was pretty heavy. It was pretty metal. I mean, we did talk about eating assholes, so that's pretty hardcore. But next up, ladies and gentlemen, is... Oh, I'm gonna try my hardest. Weltenzerstörer. Ladies and gentlemen, Weltenzerstörer.